Okay.
What shall we talk about today?
Okay. We're going to have a discussion about experience living or principled living. What does that mean? And how it affects one in your life. And obviously that the principle according to which you set your life will determine the outcome of your life, and it will determine obviously the experience within it as well. If your starting point though is experience, principles will be out the window because you will always adjust your principles according to your experience, and then you cannot be trusted because the experience is your guideline, which means it is your self-interest. That is your guideline. Now, it's very important that also the principle according to which you set your life must be a principle that is actually supporting and that will actually have the effect of an outcome that is best for all life, not only for your experience, which means that sometimes your principle will be in conflict with your desired experience.
Always.
Yes, initially it should be like that. If it is not in conflict with your desired experience and there is still starvation or war in the world, then obviously you are dishonest, because then your principle is not actually within the context of supporting life or making sure that all beings are equal and one within the experience of, at this stage, the physical. We can obviously only speak of the physical or the metaphysical. The metaphysical is that which happens after death, which is just another form of physical, and then you have the physical, which is that which happens before death, between birth and death.
Does the method of life lived during the physical affect the metaphysical in the same way?
The metaphysical and the physical are equal in one. As above, so below. It's always been like that. If one really take as above, so below to its conclusion, then the world as it is now is a reflection of heaven, and heaven is a reflection of the world, equal in one. It's cause-effect. What happens in heaven happens on earth. What happens on earth happens in heaven.
Can you give us an example of how someone lives their life through experience and or principle?
Experience living would be, for instance, where one would be living to make money, to have a good life. Every single day you will have experiences. Those experiences will have outflows and consequences. You will measure that according to how it will benefit you, and accordingly you will adjust yourself to follow the experience that will give you the most benefit, the most pleasure, the most comfort, the most, it's totally self-centered. It's about you being at peace in your world while you're oblivious to everything else going on, which is basically experience living. If one take an example of a principle, for instance, that is experience related, you'll take, for instance, the love principle, place it into an experience, and then live so that you experience love, and you wish everybody else will as well, because then apparently we will have peace on earth, and everything will just suddenly, by some magic, change, which doesn't happen. We can look at it from the time of the hippies in the 60s, and beyond, where love was the principle from the time of what's the singer that promoted love so extensively as John Lennon.
Yeah.
It made no difference, no matter with millions loving and loving, nothing changed. Everything got worse, because when your principle is based on an experience, it's no longer a principle. So therefore one can virtually say that love is not a principle, love is an experience. Equality and oneness is a principle. Therefore there is no feeling linked to it, there is no energy linked to it, there is a consequential specific outflow in every breath that is measurable. Are we equal? And is all our experiences equal? Is the laws that guide us providing for all equal? Is the living space providing for all equal? Is the food providing for all equal? Is water for all equal? Is resources for all equal? And are we dealing with it as one body, the body of humanity? That is equality and oneness practically within the context of everything. So therefore even money, is all money distributed equal as a method of communication, as a method of sharing value, as a method of appreciation, as a method of support? Or is it used so that some may experience money well, while others may experience having no money? That's not equality. That is not a quality of life either, and that is not oneness. You're then oneness within the context of separation from some having and some not having, within apparent principles that because you're not loving enough, because you are not following the spiritual principles, you are not allowed to have this outflow of oneness. But oneness in principle within equality would say it is regardless at this stage of your particular situation, you should be treated equal, and the education should be equal. I would go as far as saying that where technology already is available, that one must particularly start looking at even that a child before they're born can be assessed if they will be able to have an equal life. Because what is the point to have someone suffer in the name of one's apparent idea that God has apparently bestowed you with a disease that will harm you and make you suffer all your life, when it is purely a DNA defect? I mean, we already know these things, but we will not apply it because we do it under the experience of love. Because, I mean, where is it? What has love got to do with it? Love is an experience of self-interest. That's why when you fall in love with someone, I mean, it's all wonderful. But when you fall out of love, the experience changes. And it changes to something of despise, hate, disdain. All kinds of experiences flow from it. Now, how could love be a principle if it can change? Love then is not a principle that can be lived by, because it can change.
And it doesn't stand.
It doesn't stand
the
for
test
all
of
life.
time.
Yeah, it does not stand the test of time.